Right. This time, this lecture is all about energy resources and mineral resources, right? So we've talked about what geology is, how the materials on Earth are formed, how they move around, how they change, how we interact with them as humans. And now we're going to dive even deeper into how humans interact with Earth's materials and how humans really rely on Earth materials. Not just today, right, but also throughout human history, how we've relied on materials. Right, so energy resources. I want you to think to yourself, right, how have you used energy today? Right, as you think about your day, you're probably going to realize that you have used energy in almost everything you've done. Right, your alarm clock that went off used energy. The lights you turned on used energy. When you took a shower, it took energy to get that water into your home. When you drove to class today, right, you used fuel within your car. The clothes you were wearing, that took energy to create those clothes. Right, pretty much every single thing we do requires energy. Right? So what do I mean when I say energy? Well, energy is the capacity to do work. So again, for example, raising the temperature of a material, heating your home requires energy. Driving chemical reactions, the chemical reactions necessary to produce the rayon in your clothes, that required energy. Energy can cause an object to move or change shape, right? So moving your car to drive down the road took energy. Energy generates light and or magnetism, right? You turned on the light in your home, that used energy. Change the state of a material can also take energy, right? You're heating up the sugar in your coffee, right? To turn it from a solid to a liquid, that takes energy. So an energy resource is the source of the material that yield energy. For example, that could be like underground oil reserves. The oil and gas we use is an energy resource. The fuel is an energy resource in a usable and transportable form, such as refined oil, right? So the raw fossil fuels below the ground are an energy resource. Once we extract those fossil fuels and form them into a usable material that we can actually put into our car, that's refined oil, that's fuel. And since the Industrial Revolution, society's hunger for energy has increased unabated. So looking at this chart, you can see that in the 1800s, we didn't require a lot of energy to go about our daily lives, right? We did some, but most of that came from like burning wood, using the sun to heat up water, things like that. However, in recent time, starting in the late 1800s, but really picking up in the mid 1900s, our use of fuel has skyrocketed, right? Our use of coal, oil, gas, it's all increasing through time. And most of these resources that we use originate in geological materials or are the result of geological process, right? So coal, oil, gas, nuclear, all of these energy sources that we rely on today, almost all of them come from geological materials or geological processes, right? So if you use any energy today, which you definitely did, you can thank a geologist. So as I said, there's many different sources of energy in the Earth system. We could get energy from solar radiation, from wind, from evaporation, from tidal motion, from hydroelectric power. And today we're going to focus on those that rely on geological materials and processes, those being oil and gas or fossil fuels, and also nuclear power that relies on uranium. So when I say fossil fuels, I mean oil, natural gas, coal. All of these fuels come from organisms that lived a long time ago. And thus they store the solar energy that reached the Earth a long time ago, right? So sun provided energy to the organisms, be it grass, trees, plankton, all right, the organisms on Earth a long, long time ago. Those organisms then died. Their bodies, their carbon was converted into fuels that we now call fossil fuels. And that energy was preserved until we dug it up and used it, right? So when we refer to these substances as fossil fuels, we're really emphasizing that they're derived from ancient organisms, right? Fossils. the remains of which have been preserved in rocks over geologic time.